Hey everyone, it's Shannon with True Crime with Shannon, and I'm back with another video. But before we get into today's video topic, if you do me a quick favor, if you hit that like button for me, that thumbs up button, I would really appreciate it. It helps the video get more traction here on YouTube, especially when we're talking about these missing folks on each video. And also, if you haven't subscribed yet, I really appreciate it if you would. Just hit that subscribe button and hit the notification bell. That way you'll be notified whenever I post a new video. Okay, speaking of missing persons, let me do the missing person for this particular video here. This is for Kaleh Smith. Kaleh Smith is out of New York. She is been missing from New York, New York. What it says here is the New York Police Department 26th Precinct is attempting to locate a missing 25-year-old female. Kaleh Smith was last seen on July 25th at 3250 Broadway, New York, New York. Kaleh said she was going to the store but never returned. According to her family, she has 3 small children that she would never leave behind. Her family and friends are concerned for her well-being. She was last seen wearing white jeans, a black shirt, and has a pink purse. If you have any information on Kaleh's whereabouts, you're asked to contact Detective Cummings with the NYPD 26th Precinct at 212-678-1351, or you can email her, and her email is below. It is kind of hard to read. It looks like jewel.cummings@nypd.org. Again, that phone number for the NYPD is 212-678-1351. Now, Kaleh Smith is described, as 25 years old. She's got black hair, brown eyes. She's 5'6" and weighs 110 pounds. So if you are in the New York City area or have any information about Kaleh Smith, please do contact the NYPD so that we can bring her home to her family, especially her 3 small children. Okay, today there was some really sad news. There was a big press conference out of New Hampshire regarding the Harmony Montgomery case, and it sadly was sort of the kind of news that I was expecting, but it still tears at my heartstrings because I've been, following this case for this little girl, and I've been praying that somehow she was okay somewhere, but I think we all knew deep down that she probably wasn't okay. So let me play the presser for you guys here.
Today to provide an update regarding the ongoing investigation into the 2019 disappearance of Harmony Montgomery. Back in January, we announced that then 5-year-old Harmony likely disappeared sometime between November 28th and December 10th of 2019. Since that announcement, members of my office, members of the Manchester Police Department, the U.S. Marshal Service, the FBI, and other law enforcement partners have been diligently continuing to work this case. In total, these agencies working together have devoted thousands of hours, gathering evidence and pursuing numerous leads. All of these efforts have led us to conclude that Harmony Montgomery was murdered in Manchester in early December of 2019. At this point, while Harmony's remains have not yet been located, we do have multiple sources of investigative information, including just recently confirmed biological evidence that have led us to this difficult and tragic conclusion. As a result, today I am announcing that this is now officially a homicide investigation, and that our investigators will continue to seek justice and look into the circumstances of Harmony's murder and search for her remains. We understand that this is truly devastating news for Harmony's family, friends, and loved ones, and our hearts go out to them. This is also devastating news for the city of Manchester, for our state, and all who have followed this story. Our work now turns to getting justice for Harmony and all those who loved her. In a moment, I'm going to turn it over to Manchester Police Chief Alan Aldenburg, but before I do, I just want to acknowledge the tireless work that the Manchester Police Department has put into this difficult and truly heartbreaking case. We have much work left to do, but I think everyone would join me in thanking the chief and his team for their efforts thus far. I also want to acknowledge the work of Senior Assistant Attorney General Jesse O'Neill from my office, who is here today. He's worked closely with Chief Aldenberg, the Manchester Police Department, and all of our law enforcement partners in this investigation. And there is much work left to come.
So that was the update. I know they spoke a little bit more about that it's going to continue now to be a homicide investigation. This was off of WMUR. They have been doing excellent coverage of the Harmony Montgomery case here. They have the timeline that I've used here on the channel, as well as some other information. Let me just kind of go through their article here, and then I'll give you guys some of my thoughts, and I'm interested in what you guys think as well. The search for missing Manchester girl Harmony Montgomery is now a homicide investigation, law enforcement officials said Thursday. Again, this was just announced today around 2 p.m. Eastern. Attorney General John Formella said investigators now believe that Harmony was killed in early December 2019. He said the investigation is now a homicide investigation. We understand that this is a truly devastating news for Harmony's family, friends, and loved ones. Our hearts go out to them. It's believed that Harmony went missing between November 28th and December 10th, 2019, when she was 5 years old, but police did not learn of her disappearance for more than 2 years. Formella said Harmony's remains have not been located, but recently confirmed biological evidence and multiple sources of information have led investigators to the conclusion that she was killed. He did not provide any information about the evidence. An emotional Manchester Police Chief Alan Aldenberg said he was saddened that it has transformed into a homicide investigation. And that's him right here. Let me see if we can play that.
Good afternoon. As the Chief of Police for the City of Manchester, I'm beyond saddened that we stand here today to announce that the disappearance of Harmony Montgomery is now officially a homicide investigation. As I stated from the beginning of this investigation and throughout, every effort has been made to bring Harmony home to her family. Our commitment to bringing Harmony home has not wavered, nor will it. Bringing Harmony home will continue to be the #1 priority of the Manchester Police Department. I want to take a moment to publicly thank the Manchester Police Department detectives and New Hampshire Attorney General's Office for their steadfast commitment and dedication to this investigation. There have been many detectives assigned to this investigation, and I'm grateful to all of them. But I want to specifically recognize Captain Sean Layton, Captain Matt LaRochelle, Sergeant Jamie Cavari, who could not be here today, Detective Jack Dunleavy, Detective Scott Riley, and Detective Max Rahill, as well as Deputy U.S. Marshal Billy Tufts, who's here as well. I thank all of them for their tireless work thus far in this investigation. I am grateful for the compassion and dedication that they have given to this investigation over the past 8 months. They have experienced many ups and downs, many moments of frustration and sadness along the way, but they have remained focused and remained undeterred as they enter the next phase of this investigation. I feel it's important to recognize these true professionals, as their job is an extremely difficult one. It is even more difficult when investigating the homicide of a sweet and innocent 8-year-old girl. It is equally important for me to recognize the professionalism and commitment of Senior Assistant Attorney General Jesse O'Neill. Attorney O'Neill has been part of this investigation from day one, and he has not wavered one bit. I am personally grateful to Attorney O'Neill for the guidance and counsel he has provided me along the way. He is a consummate professional, and the state of New Hampshire should be thankful for having such an individual seeking justice for Harmony. So thank you, Jesse. It is not often that a public official takes a moment to thank the media, but I feel it's important to do so. I specifically want to extend my gratitude to WMUR and Fox Boston for continuously keeping Harmony's story at the forefront. Both outlets and many others did so with compassion and professionalism, and for that I say thank you. I know that over the past 8 months that there have been many discussions, speculation, and questions relative to where the system failed Harmony. And I myself continue to share the same concerns and still have many remaining questions. However, the homicide of this little girl rests with the person or persons who committed this horrific act. The Manchester Police Department will do everything within the limits of the law to ensure that the responsible person or persons for the murder of Harmony are brought to justice. As always, I encourage members of the public to continue to use the dedicated tip line should they have any information at all that would assist us in locating Harmony or any information that they feel is relevant to this investigation. The dedicated tip line has, the dedicated tip line number is 603-203-6060. Again, that number is 603-203-6060. As I said from the beginning, I maintain the stance that there are people out there in the community that have information about this investigation who have yet to come forward. If you are that person, pay attention to me carefully. If you are that person, I implore you to do so now and come forward. I'm not asking you to do it for me, for the people in this room, the people that have been working this investigation. Do it for this little girl who's on this screen. The time is now. Time to step up and do the right thing. Make the call to that tip line or contact the Manchester Police Department any way you see fit. Harmony is a sweet and innocent child who deserves to be brought home to her family and friends. Thank you. General?
That's just heartbreaking to me. When I first heard this, I've followed this case, and a lot of you have as well, from the first time we heard about it, the end of last year. Sadly, she was 5 at the time, and from what they're saying, she never did reach this 8th birthday, which she would have been today. This little girl had her innocence taken from her. Her life is gone. And I, personally, my opinion is I believe her father, Adam Montgomery, either did this to her, or he has a part in it, whatever, in some way. Either way, he's at fault because he had custody of this little girl and he let something happen to her. So I hope that weighs heavy on his heart right now as he sits in prison, because he is sitting in prison for gun charges. And I really hope the justice system can nail him, because I believe, my personal opinion is, that he knows exactly what happened to his little girl. And he knows exactly what happened to her. And that search of that apartment that we had, a couple months back, that's where they found this information. They're not giving us all the details at this time, but this was where Adam and Kaleh lived with little Harmony before he claims he took her to go see her mother, Crystal, which he never did. So the question is, how much is Kaleh involved, her stepmom? How much is Kaleh involved? I don't believe she's completely innocent at all. I believe if she's not an accomplice, she's definitely an accessory after the fact, because she knows something. They found evidence in that apartment. That's what it's alluding to. Like I said, they're not saying that, but this is what I get out of it. I don't know if you guys get the same information that I'm seeing, but that little girl had her whole life and her future taken away from her because of what I believe her father. Regardless of if he personally did it, whatever happened, whatever the situation may be, I still say, Adam Montgomery, it is your fault that this little girl is dead. So let's see what else they had to say here.
Thank you, Chief. Thank you again to your department, your team, and all of our law enforcement partners for their assistance in this investigation. Before we close, I just want to take one more opportunity to express my deepest sympathies to Harmony's family, friends, and loved ones. All homicide cases are difficult. Any loss of human life is tragic. But cases like this that involve young children and young girls like this are especially difficult. We have a lot of work ahead. But as Chief Aldenberg said, and as our partners believe, we will not stop until we get justice for Harmony and those who loved her. As to any further specifics or questions about the evidence in this case or the investigation at this point, due to the fact that this is an ongoing criminal investigation, we're unable to make further comments at this time. We do thank you all for being here today.
Okay. So now this is a homicide investigation, a murder investigation, as you just heard them all say. We are now after justice for Harmony Montgomery. And that does not stop for all of us here on socials. As a YouTube creator, I'm going to continue to try to help from what I can. Keep this out in public. I love WMUR, and I'm glad that they thanked WMUR because this has been my main source of information. They have their coverage is amazing, and you could tell that their love for this little girl is quite big. I'm not going to stop covering this, and she's going to be on this channel until we get resolution and she's able to come home. Sadly, she's not going to come home alive, obviously, but I want someone to come forward, tell us what happened to this little girl, and hopefully we can get some remains so we can put her to peace, and her mother and the rest of her family. I know Crystal, her biological mother's had a lot of history of some issues as well, and that's also been a question in this case, but my heart does still go out to her. And obviously the rest of the family. Now, as far as Adam and Kaleh, my heart is not in that same place, because I believe that they know something, or something at their hands took this little girl's life. It took her way too soon. And now she's got a little brother that's with two adoptive parents. They have to explain to her little brother today that his sister is gone. He'll never see her ever again. How horrible, how horrific. I mean, it's just, and like they said, and we've said all along, so many people, so many failed this poor little child. Look at that little face. So many failed that little 5-year-old. She just didn't know anything but failure. I mean, when she needed someone to take care of her and love her, that wasn't taken care of at all. I mean, we don't even know what kind of life she had at the end. But when the state was supposed to protect her, when calls were, made to Child Protective Services to come check on her well-being, they listened to her father, Adam, and just, brushed it off the shelf there. There is no excuse for that whatsoever. Not only did Crystal, her biological mother, she lost custody because she was trying to take care of her drug issues and that sort of thing, which she was aware of. But Adam should never had custody of this little girl. She should have gone into a foster family. And yes, I realize the foster system is pretty crazy and messed up, but it would have at least given her, I think, a better chance than this, because she was just never really taken care of and loved, I don't believe, at all by Adam and Kaleh. That's my personal opinion, of course, but I'm praying for justice for this little girl, and I'm going to continue to cover her, her case until we are able to bring her home and give her some peace and find out what monster killed her, or monsters. So let me know what you guys think in the comments of this news today, and I will continue to cover it. And with that said, I want to thank you guys for checking out the channel, and I hope you guys have a great day, and stay safe.